Hello, everyone. Welcome to 10 Forward. This is MB Geek. And I don't normally do short, quick drops like this, but to go live, but I decided to do one today. I'm not a big fan of Star Trek Picard. Most people know this. I've actually not had too many nice things to say about it. However, I did do some reviewing of what was supposed to be coming up for Picard Season 2 and Season 3. And there's an interesting theory I saw out there at one point that I actually do want to talk about. What if the events of Q never happened? Man, there's a lot of changes that would be impacted in, obviously Voyager would be one that was heavily impacted, but you could also say DS9, the events of the Dominion War, the events in TNG, First Contact, even events in Generations. So let's kind of maybe go back and look at some of the things that are different. So if the Q does not take them to the Beta Quadrant to meet the Borg, Guinan probably is never going to mention them or bring them up. Possibly right now she doesn't have reason to, or maybe she did in the past, but they really don't know much about the Borg in the time when she got here. During Kirk's time frame, it's really not sure. But let's go into the fact that if Q does not take the Enterprise to the Beta Quadrant, we don't meet the Borg. We don't prepare for the Borg. I mean, this is one of the things that you have to look at is from that point on in TNG all the way to the events in Voyager, the events of the Borg coming and the threat of the Borg and the realization of the Borg are what changed quite a few things for them. So let's kind of go over some things that would have happened. Let's start with Borg episodes. Episodes with the Borg in Star Trek. To kind of help me go through, put a list together. So episodes, if I could spell Borg right. Episodes with the Borg in Star Trek. All right, Borg appearances. So let's go with, we're starting out with Q. Next time we run into the Borg is Best of Both Worlds. Now, obviously, this is where we're going to have a major divergence here. Since the Borg don't know anything about the Federation right now, or humans, or in that aspect, they're not interested in coming to the Alpha Quadrant or coming to Sector 001. So there would be no Battle of Wolf 359. Yes, we would not have lost 11,000 Federation members at that time. Also in DS9, Sisko's wife would not have died. At least not because of Wolf 359. What events would have happened to her and Sisko and his son had Wolf 359 not happened? That's a big change there. We wouldn't have Borg. Hugh would never have gotten his concept of humanity, learned to be an individual. There would have been no talk of this, the question of genocidal destruction, extermination of the Borg at the time. It just wouldn't happen. But the Borg wouldn't have happened. The episode would not, we wouldn't have had Hugh. He wouldn't have grown in individuality. It wouldn't have gone through and caused some issues inside the Borg collective, like we later saw with Descent. Lore would not have gotten a hold of, hey, Carla, how you doing? Yeah, we will definitely talk about that. I will bring that up too. I will absolutely bring that up. So at this point, Lore would have already have gotten the emotion chip And Lore would have probably have done something to get Data over there, but it wouldn't have been with the Borg because he wouldn't have found their ship. He wouldn't have found Hugh or any of them. And this would have been another moment where we wouldn't have had anything to do with the Borg. So Hugh would have been still assimilated. Not sure what would have happened with Lore. I mean, there's a possibility that because the Borg didn't happen, there's a chance Lore wouldn't have been disabled and he would have come back at later times. It's another factor in that. Also, there'd be no reason for Star Trek Generations for Sora, or whatever his name was, and Guinan to actually talk about the, hey, Revan, they wouldn't have had a reason to talk about, the fact that the Borg destroyed their homeworld. I mean, they could have mentioned it, but let's be honest, if they're not, at this point, still there's no familiarity with the Borg, how are we going to know what that means? So that's the minor factor I have with that. And if anybody wants to join, please let me know. Lore might have joined the Romulans. That would have been an interesting concept. That might have. So then we get to the big point of First Contact. Actually, let's not forget the episode that came after Best of Both Worlds. Is the episode with his brother. He's dealing with the PTS of going through the assimilation. And it's a really powerful core episode that really just strips away down a lot of what Picard was. And it took him to a point where he realized he is very vulnerable. And it was something that, no matter what, he couldn't fight out of it. And here we go.
Hey, how are you, man? Been a while in the day.
Yeah, it's been a spell or two.
Yeah. So, if you wanted to find out about the Borg without having Q, all you have to do is state in TNG that there was a historic file about an augmented race. Not much details. Right? Just say that there was a historic file and don't have the Federation go to meet them. Just starts off where the Enterprise is cruising along, going wherever. Planet of the week. Right? And we find they suddenly get a distress call from a ship. So they go to the neutral zone. And we learn that it's a Romulan ship who sent a distress call. But the Romulan ship is starting to look a bit Borg. Then as they go on, that's when we meet the Borg. No need for Q.
Possibility. But like I said, I'm going with the whole idea that in Picard season 2 and possibly season 3, because they're doing them both back to back, is there's going to be a discussion between Picard and Q, and he's going to be like, yes, I wish the events never happened. And it's going to be something like, okay, have it your way. And then, so that's what I'm going through, all the things that if Q-Who didn't happen, events that would have been affected by that. First Contact, the movie First Contact wouldn't have happened.
No.
Zephyr Cochrane would have done his warp flight. There would have been no Borg invasion. The Enterprise E would have had no reason to go back in time because there would have been no threat of the Borg at this point, which would also cut the events of what happened in the Star Trek Enterprise episode out because they wouldn't have found those few Borg in the Arctic because they wouldn't have been there. So, I mean, when you look at it there, but when you get into DS9, this is where smaller things change, but you got to look at some of the aspects here. Sisko was on the Lexington with his wife and son. Now, let's just go with the fact that he is an offspring of the prophets from the wormhole. So, let's say he was probably going back. He wasn't on the Was he on the Saratoga or the Lexington?
He was on the Saratoga. The Lexington, okay. I believe, is the Excelsior class.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why I was getting the Lexington and the Saratoga.
Because they're one hit ships, basically.
Yeah, like it was a Miranda class.
Yeah.
Obviously. But so you would have him probably still going to DS9, only at this point it would be with his wife, his son. Things would have played out differently. He would not have, I mean, assuming they stayed married and everything, which would have been all likelihood, he wouldn't have married, he wouldn't have met Cassidy Yates. There would have been no Defiant spaceship.
No.
The whole point of the Defiant class ship was to fight the Borg. So because Starfleet didn't have that threat available to them, the ship wouldn't have gone into production, which would have probably had effects on the Dominion War.
No Sovereign class either. No Voyager. None of them.
That's right, something because the Intrepid class and Salvage class. I mean, if you look at the way they were doing it, the point was they were going away from the saucer section, going to more wedge shape, going towards some more smaller tactical ships. They were getting the impression bigger was not better. They were trying to come up with smaller, modified ships that could be faster, move better, be more agile. They took the idea of the Defiant class, and obviously that was the experimental one, but you get the other classes of starship that were the design was, okay, we've got to keep the Borg in mind.
Yes.
So you would have had many of those different issues go around during that time frame in DS9, but that would be the big ones that would affect it. No Defiance class, probably different ships wouldn't have been created. Dominion War might have still gone the same way, but I think it would have...
No, the Dominion War would have gone worse because the Borg fighter ships, the Akira, the Steamrunner, the Intrepid, let's say the Sovereign in the background, gone. All the big, strong ships are gone. The beefier, the ability to pump new weapons into older classes fast, gone.
You'd wonder if they'd even have quantum torpedoes at this point.
They wouldn't. Not at all. And Voyager, if Voyager wasn't an Intrepid, let's say Voyager was a Nebula, right? Voyager would still be in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, and that's definitely where we're gonna move to next, because if there was no Q-Who episode, no Borg, Voyager would have gone obviously very, very different, because Janeway, not just her, Janeway and the Equinox, the Voyager and the Equinox, neither one of them would have had any information on the Borg being in the Delta Quadrant. So this would have been actually their first encounter, either the Equinox or the Voyager, one or two, and they wouldn't have had a damn clue what was going on. They'd have probably been easily assimilated, and that would have been and that would have been the first point. Voyager would never have made it home. They would have been assimilated. 7 of 9 would not be assimilated because her parents would have had no reason to go exploring Borg.
Unless you could say that they're simply exploring.
Nah, their whole purpose was to go out and search for Borg.
They were kind of dumbasses. Let's admit it. But I've heard that the writers of Picard are going to use Picard to create a brand new timeline.
Yeah, Carlo, that is right. I mean, they did they flat out took the hell out of a Galaxy class starship. That was not something we thought would be something we'd see like that.
No.
Well, also here's another thing. Okay, so let's say the Voyager gets assimilated.
Yeah.
Okay, the crew gets assimilated. None of the Borg kids, obviously, that were found in the maturation chamber, they obviously are going to grow up and become full Borg. 7 of 9 is not 7 of 9. She's on, what was her name? Annika?
Annika.
Yeah, Annika. But also, so this would be the first time the Borg would know what humans are, and they would have all this information from them, where we're at, all that information from the Voyager. They would have all of Captain Janeway's experience, all those Starfleet and Maquis people's experience. But here's the question I kind of wonder: what would be the issue? Because this was the big one when you go to species 8472, because
The
they fucked up the Borg pretty bad.
the 847 to a species like that is a conquering race. I think that they would have come in anyway. Eventually.
But also without Janeway helping them out with 7 of 9, the Borg probably would have been focused mostly on that.
Yeah.
They were getting screwed by species 847 too.
Oh gosh, yes.
So it would be interesting. I would assume at some point the Borg or species 8472 would have probably come out. One of them would have came out on top, you would think.
I'd say species 8472 because without Voyager there, and Voyager being the Mary Seal ship that it is, they weren't able to help.
So you take the events of all that, and I lost my train of thought there. Shit. I totally lost my train of thought there. So we have no Borg thing. So what do you? The impression I'm getting from what I've seen of the trailer stuff is Q's going to do some time travel alteration because that's what Q does.
Yes, of course.
And I could see this being similar to when he was like, "Oh, remember what happened when you didn't get stabbed in the back? Look what happened to you." Well, okay, here's what happened to you when you didn't encounter the Borg.
So I have a weird idea. We know that Jean-Luc Picard is full of regrets. Okay?
Yes.
What if Q, at the end of it, fixes his regrets and fixes the biggest complaint of season 1, that Picard is a robot?
Well, let's put it this way: if Picard, if they switch it, there's going to be no need for the entire all the events virtually of that had anything to do with 7 and 9 or the Borg or Q are completely gone.
What?
But the story of season 1 really doesn't happen.
No, dude, look at 7 and 9. 7 and 9 is back in the 90s. Or modern day. She's on a bus.
Oh, it's been a minute since I saw that.
Yes, 7 of 9 and her girlfriend are on a bus.
Oh, Rafi.
Rafi. Are on a bus in modern day.
So it looks like Picard is still in uniform at this point. He's actually if I looked at the one clip,
An admiral.
A high-ranking admiral. He's like a fleet admiral.
Yes. Hold on, I'm going to... One second. I want to look at his uniform because I want to look at the pips.
Because that looks like full-on fleet admiral bars.
How many... Hold on. There's... Dude, he's a fleet admiral. Yeah. No, he's not. He's still a 4-pip. Is it? Hold on.
No, that's not a
Ford.
That's not the Captain Pips. That's the Admiral, because look at how it's...
Oh, no. I know that. He's still... What I mean is, in Picard Season 1, we saw him being left go with 4 pips, right? And in this, he still has 4 pips. As an Admiral. I mean, 4-pipped Admiral. Hey, Dave G.
Hey, Dave G. I decided to throw, since... other people I know are not on, I decided to throw this together for a short time before I start working on stuff today. I was going to mow my lawn this morning, but it rained last night, so I have to wait until it dries.
The only thing, I don't think they're getting rid of the Borg. I think what they're going to do is they're going to erase the ban on synthetics. And the attack on Mars. That's what I think they're doing. Because we see the sexy android girl, we see her walking around with a bag with a little Federation symbol on the bag. I believe there's a Federation symbol, but she's walking around anyway, right?
You take care, Carlo. You have
Later,
a blessed
Carlo.
one. I originally really was not planning on seeing this. I read that in season 2 we're looking at Johnny Lance is going to be in about six of the episodes, so he's going to have a pretty. So this is my theory, and this is just a theory. I have nothing to back this up anywhere.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they might be doing Picard season 2 and 3 back to back is, one, we need to look at Patrick Stewart's age. Also, if you have, I think I would not be surprised if season 2 and 3 are probably doing back to back because they're wrapping up the story for the 3rd season, and they'll probably end it there. Here's my reasoning why I think that. You've got, what is Discovery coming back to? Season 4 or season 4, right?
4.
Okay.
4.
So they're on season 4. Picard's doing 2 and 3. Lower Decks is on season 2, and they're launching Strange New Worlds. I don't think CBS Paramount Plus has the funds to afford 4 Star Trek shows continuously like that.
So, did you hear what they named their new Star Trek project? Like,
No.
the umbrella's name for it is Star Trek Universes. Like, plural.
Okay.
I think we're going to see separate timelines. We're going to see a Discovery timeline, and we're going to see a timeline that fans may be happy with. I just hope. But can I say something on a serious note? I'm going to send something to your Twitter. I'm really fucking worried about Tilly. So,
The girl who plays her?
yes. Okay, where is it? There's this. The girl, like, look how much weight you've seen her in season 3. She's after putting on a hell of a load of weight.
Damn.
Yeah, that was her this weekend.
She got a thyroid problem or something?
No, she's got So, we started noticing it in season 2. At the beginning, but in season 3, one of her friends is like, is she pregnant? Is she pregnant? People were saying they put a fat suit on her when she was pregnant. Other people said no, that she just ballooned that fast. But the thing is, it's like, she is ballooning really fast. And it's not a thyroid problem, because you saw what she looked like in series 1. And for years before that, she was really skinny. Like, it's shocking.
Well, I'm not going to speculate. I do know people put on weight if they're having mental health issues sometimes. But like I said, I have no clue. But yeah, she has definitely put on quite a bit of weight.
Especially the speed that she's been putting it on.
So anyway, but getting back on topic.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So the theoretical that I heard people say is probably season 3 of Picard will be it. This will be the final season of Discovery. And Strange New Worlds will come out, and they'll have Lower Decks, and then probably a 3rd series production.
Prodigy. They're having Prodigy.
Yeah, but you're still looking several years down the road.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're probably planning on wrapping up Discovery and wrapping up Picard. So, I mean, but yeah, the question is going to be what is this going to do with Picard? You wipe out all season 1, which most of us would, quite frankly, not cry about.
Like, I don't care. Star Trek died. We found to remember it in its prime. Its stepchildren are awful self-centered money. That I don't think Star Trek's dead. I don't think so. I think it's been mismanaged, but I don't think it's dead. Because I know people like us are still making videos on Star Trek and talking about Star Trek. That is not something that's dead.
you're going to have a hard time getting but still, we're having a hard time. We're going to have to wrap. Besides, what if Q does this? What if Q changes? What is this going to impact what goes on in Discovery? Probably not, but
It might actually solidify the theory that Discovery's its own timeline. Because did you watch the current this season of Discovery?
oh hell no, buddy! I told you I didn't.
So in one of the episodes, they actually had a crew member come over from the JJ universe, right? And he was wearing a early TNG era uniform.
Really?
Yes, that happened.
I did
Do
not
you
know
want me?
that.
Do you want me to get your screenshot?
If you want to show it to me, yeah, bring it up. I
Okay,
did not know
give me two. So hold on. Right, I'll go to Netflix then. Do you want me to share screen or screenshot?
Share screen. I'll bring it up.
Right.
The family name is soiled, but we still respect the parent. Hey, sometimes kids just do their own stupid thing, no matter what the parents say.
I'm going to mute it so there's like no chance of
Yeah, gotcha.
say okay. Far from home, forgive me now. Blah blah blah.
I'm really wondering. I'm really wondering if this season 2 and 3 is the whole point of this is really they are trying to soft reboot and unfuck themselves. Kind of like what Disney's been trying to do with the TV series is on Disney Plus with Star Wars.
I hope so. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. Chrome tab. Ah, bollocks. Right, give me 1 second now. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, I remember here. Okay, I remember something about that.
I think I said it to you.
Yeah, I think I remember something about that. That looks like season 1, season 2 TNG era.
Yeah. But, so I'm just going to play it for a second. La, 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 la. So, like, I don't even know what race he is.
Not a
So,
clue.
yeah, so, this is him, and they state that he came over from an alternate universe where a Romulan mining ship attacked Vulcan. They literally state they plotted Star Trek 2009.
Who knows? Well, you've got. So let's see. I don't care that. I mean, they can run their mouths all they want about Discovery. Discovery does not fit in the
Discovery
prime time.
doesn't. Discovery doesn't fit. No.
Picard, unfortunately, does, but it sucks.
Picard does. Picard. No, Picard does.
Picard, I can't figure out if it's supposed to be JJ era or
No, it's
what,
Picard.
because the whole
So,
thing was Romulans with Romulus and Remus exploding.
so my friends and I, we've got a theory that from the TNG movies onwards is a separate timeline. A few of us have come to this conclusion. Characterizations are off, one or two little details are off, things like that. Worf being on the Sovereign class and on DS9 doesn't match because Worf never left DS9 for that long.
Yep.
So we theorized that Picard is in the same timeline as the TNG movies, and Discovery is carried over from Enterprise.
remember when Star Trek timeline was actually fluid and made sense, and now it's turned into a freaking Terminator timeline? It's like, which Terminator timeline do you follow?
It's like, so I'm watching Star Trek. Which timeline? That timeline. No, no, no. There, let me introduce you to my whiteboard. So, we were joking about me making a video and I'm on screen dressed up and things like that. And we're trying to figure out where the timelines are. And at the end of it, I'm just lying on the ground underneath my whiteboard crying. and just be there and just be there with like my little ships, or even sitting there like rocking back and forth with Grogu, like playing with my Eagle Moss ships going and just you hear it, and then it just ends with his brain needs time to reboot.
That way to look at it.
Yeah, I'll be doing that next year. Like that's plans for my channel.
Well, I was thinking when I was looking at this when I heard about the season 2, season 3 being back to back. I'm kind of wondering if the plan is that they are going to how do I say this? The next 2 seasons are going to be kind of like a continuation. They're gonna be actually like one long season.
Could it be like Loki?
Or like Mandalorian season 1 and 2.
No. So Loki was actually meant to be one season, okay? But due to COVID, it got split into 2 seasons. Could they have meant to produce one really long season, like get back to the long seasons that everyone is used to? But because of COVID, they split it into 2.
Now, if I remember correctly, back when Picard first was airing, they said they kept it short because 1, his age, 2, budget.
Yeah.
I mean, those were 2 key things he mentioned in an interview. He did say, we want to keep it shorter. 1, he's like, I'm not the same guy I was back when TNG started.
I know.
And the budgets have probably gone up since then. What's we got here, Dave? They took it up and made it easier to write for because there are no continuity rules anymore. Hence, the quality of accepted stories diminished. That's one way to look at it. I would not disagree with that. Some people think we're crazy because we take our IPs very seriously.
We love these. In dark times, these IPs at times for us were all we had.
Yeah, some of these were. Well, yeah, I mean, these are IPs. Like I said, I know a lot of people who became certain careers because of Star Trek. I became a computer guy because of Star Trek.
Yeah. I know a guy who got into science because of Star Trek. Like, the thing is, how many of us have made friends mainly because of Star Trek and Star Wars?
I'd say a good majority of us.
Exactly.
Because we can always find, we've had an ability to have one thing. It's like, even if we don't have much else in common, we have found that in a lot of areas in our geek culture, we can find something that we all enjoy as geeks. Star Trek and Star Wars tend to be the two main properties that bring us together. Others, Farscape, to a degree, Stargate, X-Files, Doctor Who. I mean, these aren't just shows that. How do we put this? These aren't shows these aren't fire and forget shows for us. These aren't shows that we watch one time, never watch again, barely ever mention it, and don't even think about it. These are shows that we've been watching most of our lives and still talk about to this day. So
you're living the dream, man. I'm going to tell you why. So a lot of nerds dream of introducing people to Star Wars, Star Trek, all the things that we love, right?
Yeah.
You get to do it with your kids and little and the grandkid.
Yes, that is. I'll tell you what, my son is chomping at the damn bit for Orville season 3.
Oh, we all are. That Orville, I'm just scared that Orville's going to go woke. I'm terrified. I am. Like, I'm not saying that they will, because, like, in season 3, they know their audience. They know what the other shows are. The fact that fucking CBS had to fix to go with them. They know their audience, but still, in this day and age, I'm scared that's going to go woke.
Dave G. Sound, these are the parts of our lives. I got into studio work so I could sit on a bridge surrounded by electronics. Star Trek. Yeah. It is amazing. I've known people who became, who got into, or I didn't know them personally, but I've known people who've gone into composing because of things like Star Wars' John Williams or the themes from Star Trek.
Sure, me and my friends were planning on meeting up, and we've already nicknamed ourselves in the away team.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, we all say that we'd be the worst officers in Starfleet, because the joke is that if I became a captain in Star Trek, I'd probably go rogue and nuke every planet I see.
Pull a little Captain Sisko on Eddington.
Exactly.
We should call that the Sisko maneuver.
Sisko. No one wants to pull the Sisko maneuver.
I don't think they can fuck up Orville as bad if they made a direct attempt. I don't think Seth MacFarlane is going to. I don't think he's trying.
Let's be honest, if they wanted to, they would have done it in season 1, especially with the trans story, which I think was handled fantastically.
Absolutely handled fantastically. I'll take it for example. My son, he's watched all these episodes. He could understand that story without having it shoved in his face. And that was the whole beauty of what Star Trek was the allegories of things that we could take from modern day and put it into context that, us young kids could understand and get some kind of our head wrapped around it when we were young.
Exactly. But then again, as every Orville fan agrees, fuck Clyden. Bortus's husband.
Yes, I know who Clyden is.
Yeah, like I saw a T-shirt with that written on it.
Fuck Clyden.
Yeah. I want to get that.
I want a shirt that says "Hi, I'm Dan."
And just go up to the actor who was Dan and get it signed.
Oh, absolutely! If I could.
Oh my god.
I love Dan. I like how I like him. I like when they put him and Yaphet in. You get they don't overuse them, but when they do use them, they are just fun to have on.
Did you know that NASA designed the robot? What's his name?
Isaac.
Thank you. NASA designed Isaac's helmet.
Did not know that.
Yeah. I was watching an interview with him, and he said, so there's lights on it, like 3D circles, so they can add in the lights, right? Okay. But he can see it, but you can't see him. And he can see it perfectly. NASA designed it.
Nice.
Yeah. But I love when actors who are in makeup come out of makeup for scenes. I would love to see Bortus with a holoprojector looking as a human, trying to act human. That would be funny.
I have a friend of mine who I've done my Sunday shows with, Jack. He actually did one of those personal interviews with those video interviews, and he sent and he got a clip of it where he asked Jack's like, "Hey, can I get some beer money?" And the guy who plays Bortus is like, "No, Jack, I will not give you beer money." I was like, "That's an awesome." One of the things is there were so many unlikable things about the characters in the first season of Picard. How are you going to go about making? I mean, I'm curious to how they're going to go about making these characters interesting, if they're even able to.
Did you watch The Office?
British or American?
American.
A little bit. I preferred British, which is very unusual. Okay,
so in season 1, a lot of the characters were nothing like season 2, right? So in season 2, season 1, everyone hated a lot of the characters. Season 2, they ended up loving them because they gave the characters personality reboots and things like that. They could simply do that with Picard and don't even reference what happened in season 1.
Oh, well, here's an interesting thing, too. If Picard, okay, if in season 2 Picard, Wolf 3-5 doesn't happen, we still have this thing with Picard still having that illness, the aromatic syndrome illness. So he's wouldn't be in a golem outfit now. He'd be a human. So are we assuming
Q could cure it? Mm-hmm. Q could cure it.
Well, of course, Q could.
I mean, that's literally snap, boom, you're here. But the thing is, if they release the ban, that changes season 1. Because that brings back the Rikers kid. Right? That brings him back.
Oh, that would have a factor in it. Well, what would the issue be with the androids they have? Would that still have been going?
Nope, there would be no issue whatsoever. Because it was all due to the Romulans. So if you get rid of whatever the Romulans were scared of, you remove that. Then there's no issues with the androids, and just keep going on as if like there was nothing wrong.
I like that, Dave G. So yeah, apparently they can't pay their electric bill, but they can make sure they've got proper lighting for their really lame ass sex scenes.
She's a pretty girl.
Let's see. You've got F-bombs and sex scenes being... I don't have a clue. I'd be curious to see... Actually, I'm going to listen to some people. I'll see what goes on for a few episodes. I'll probably watch a couple just to take a guess. If I have to make a thought, the first episode will most likely be some kind of Picard going through some kind of issue. The end of the episode is going to be with Q showing up, them having an argument, Q saying Picard saying this is your, saying the whole thing with the Borg is your fault. I wish it never happened. And Q being like, all right, fine, have it your way.
You know what? You know what you could do? Just how I think episode 1's going to... So Picard starts noticing that there's something wrong. He gets a call from Guinan. Introduce Guinan in season 1. Say that Guinan's going to come and see him. Okay? Mm-hmm. He's going around, he's doing it, he's talking, I think there's something wrong. At the end of the season, Picard goes into his office, he sits down on his chair and you hear, Bonjour, mon capitaine. And he turns around and there's Q.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that. Well, we do know how the Q have sex. We did watch that. We did see that between Q and his...
You know what would be a really, really bold move for them to do? If Q was standing there, and he's like, Admiral says, like, Mon Capitan, he's like, I was an admiral. He goes, you're a farmer now. And he says, I'll cure your aromatic syndrome or whatever at the end of the season, right? Going into season 2, he clicks his fingers and he sees someone. They're like, who are you? And he's like, it's me. And they turn around and it's a new actor. Picard is young again. That would be really bold.
I had wondered if they were going to go something like that. I mean, there's always a possibility. So, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, folks, I'm coming up on 10 o'clock my time. I only had about a 45-minute window. Revan, I've got stuff I've got to do. I've got to get laundry done, dishes done.
Yeah.
And then hopefully in a couple hours, it'll be dry and I can go mow my damn lawn, which is going to take me about 2+ hours.
Oh, do you have a little ride along?
Yeah, I have a 0 turn, but it still takes me about 2 hours.
Oh, fuck.
It's 1.45. It's 1.43 acres of land, and it's some areas are a little harder to mow than others.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, so this is 10 Forward, myself, my co-host Potato Revan, giving our thoughts on Picard season 2 and 3. What if Q Who had never happened?
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, you all have a blessed one. Dave, Carlo, Potato Revan, thanks guys for showing up. You know I love having you guys around. Always fun to talk. And with that, folks, outro time.